Has the stream started? Are we up? You're good, you're off. Wundertüte oder was ist das? Marco, ey.
'14 World Ultimate Club Championships on Sky Magazine. I'm Liam Rosen here with Nikki Smith. Brian Jones out for this game. You can find us on Twitter, Sky_Liam Rosen. You can find Nikki at I_am_Smithers, like the Simpsons character. We've got a quarterfinals matchup, Revolution from Medellín, Colombia, against Scandal from Washington, D.C., United States of America.
Very, very exciting game, Liam. We have reigning national champions from both teams. So Revolution almost always wins Colombian nationals. And last year, 2013, Scandal took away the title from Fury, who'd held it for many years. So two top teams from two strong ultimate countries. Very exciting game. Both teams
Shaking hands, doing the run-through before the game.
And Colombia was dancing before the game. Those of you who have been lucky enough to be at a World Championships or at a tournament with Revolution, they really like to dance. I've seen them dancing after the game, and they were doing their trademark dance to get warmed up and in the right mindset to play.
Mauricio Moore talked one time about a pivotal moment in the game where Revolution was down, and instead of talking about strategy, the girls called a timeout and just danced. Did the flow. They are a team that is all about fire and energy and heart, and not necessarily about dry strategy.
No, I don't think they know dry strategy. I think they love to run, they love to play frisbee, they love to throw their bodies around the field. They are a team made entirely of heart, and it's brought them a lot of success.
So talking with Coach Alex Dutchy Geskyer before the game, Scandal He's coached them now for 2 seasons, led them to a national championship, as you said, Nikki, last year. Dutchy as well, former coach of Revolver, coach of the World Games team that won gold in Colombia last year. And we asked him what he knew about Revolution. They said they had met twice already this year. Once was at Torneo Eterna Primavera in Medellín, and the other time was at US Open.
And both times, sorry, 2 different results there, but quite different lineups. So Revolution's won once, and Scandal has won once, but slightly different sides playing here today.
So pull into Scandal. Rasa to Faye. Foul called on the mark. Players will go back to position. Jenny Faye, you'll see her as one of Scandal's main offensive line handlers.
Another call.
It's another foul on the mark. A bit breezy out today as the wind has picked up a little bit. Sun's still beating down. Raha into Molly Roy. Daly back to Faye. Faye, forehand put deep. Cardenas almost gets a hand on it, and the layout grab is dropped from Maddie Frey.
That was a great bid. She managed to get 2 hands on it, but it wasn't good enough.
Frey, Atlanta-based player.
Used to play for Riot. Looks like they're exchanging the disc.
And Frey won't be continuing on with Scandal in the regular season. Neither will Raha Mozafari, who's been working as a center handler for them. They picked Raha up from Philadelphia Amp.
Yeah, Coach Dutchy said they were looking for a thrower. That's who they chose.
They scouted around. Raha was local and had the right connections to get her on the team. Raha played with Amp at the last World Ultimate Club Championships in Prague, but Amp failing to qualify for this one.
Looks like they finally have a disc they're happy with. Here we go.
Cartagena.
She's one of 4 World Games players on Revolution.
Cardenas. Far side, trailing edge layout grab, can't make it. And Coach Dutchy telling his players to slow down and spread the field.
You'll be seeing a lot more layouts just like that from the Colombian girls, there's no doubt. That's number 8, Karen Rico, who normally plays for Bamboo, a Bogota-based team.
Faye up the line. Raha tries to jump it in, now right on the end zone line. Raha's just going to jam that up the line. Foul called.
That was a great run through D.
Scandal needs to dump and swing here. They're trying to rely on throwing it up to the open side.
Yeah, the first thing Raha's going to want to do, dump it and use that space on the other side of the field.
Raha inside break.
Or that.
For the grab, Alika Johnston puts Scandal up 1-0. So a quick point for Scandal, who holds on offense. Breeze is picking up a little bit. You can see the flags in the background. Wind steady at about 10 kilometers per hour. Wind
really hasn't been a factor since the first day. The first game in the stadium, the showcase game between two mixed teams. There was a bit of wind, and since then the weather's been extremely cooperative. Warm, sunny, clear, barely a breeze.
Opie Payne with the disc for Scandal. Star of the World Games team as Revolution lines up to receive the pole. This is a tradition for them, linking arms, showing sisterhood and togetherness, which are some of their team values. Torres.
Overthrow.
Maddox looking for Jorgensen, puts it out to her, but it's saved by Beach. Kimberly Beach saves the overthrow, so Scandal goes up 2-0, capitalizing on an early mistake from Revolution. Revolution prepares to receive the pull again. A key mistake from them in the first point, an overthrown dump pass.
All the Revolution players joining sides on the joining hands on the sideline as well. You can already hear them with their cheers. A very vocal, very supportive team. Often yelling across the field back and forth to each other. Really creating a positive vibe for their team here.
An extremely short pull from Scandal. That'll give Revolution great field position.
So Aleja will bring in the disc. Aleja spent a season several years ago now playing with Riot. Just traveled up to America for the Ultimate season to play season with Riot back in Colombia, bringing back what she's learned, leading the team.
Aleja is the wife of coach Mauricio Moore.
Together they are a powerhouse in Colombian Ultimate. Aleja on the field, she also coaches, or has coached in the past, one of the top men's teams. And Mauricio Moore responsible for a lot of the organization of the international tournaments, of the international teams that fly to Colombia to play.
Torres, another miscommunication. The Scandal goes the other way. So a couple of early errors from Revolution showing some nerves.
Setting up a horizontal stack. Scandal's keeping the stack nice and close.
Ospina on the mark. And Payne is wide open deep. Payne throws it over the shoulder for receiver. Hard catch to make, but Beach again for her second in a row.
Payne making it look easy there. The Colombian girls are going to have to watch that short stack. They're going to have to place players behind the Scandal players to cut off those long options. My feeling is that Revolution can run every bit as fast as the Scandal girls for the most part, but they're going to have to be smart about that, how they decide to set up on the field.
So Opie Payne prepares to pull again. Last pull from Scandal was short, didn't seem to matter though as Revolution turned over instantly. Revolution not able to string a pass together.
Early nerves, they've met this team before. I think probably Mauricio Moore on the line there was telling them to breathe deeply, calm down and play their game.
Cartagena to Ospina. Botero, backhand huck deep to Cartagena. Cartagena gets Payne. Payne elevates for the D.
That is a superstar matchup right there. Two World Games players, two very, very dominant World Games players. I imagine we'll see them marking each other quite a bit during the game. Cartagena, a legend in Colombian Ultimate. Everyone knows her name in Colombia. Many people know her name overseas.
She was the overall points leader at the 2012 World Ultimate Guts Championships in Sakai. Sandy Jorgensen trying to make the layout, unable to have it go. Revolution getting started right away. Loose mark into Ospina.
Ospina very effectively making that first cut a few times in a row.
Cartagena. There's a pick call in the stack. Disc check back in. Cartagena. Mosquera. The World Games connection. Mosquera backhand huck. Ospina has position. She needs to box out. Two Scandal defenders there for the deep.
Clean play, very effective defense by the Scandal players. Speaking to their coach, Dutchie, yesterday, he said that fast, effective D is the core of their team's success. He described their offense as blue collar. Nothing fancy. Blue collar offense, rather. That just works the disc up the field, but the defense is where they really shine.
Maddox had those two deep turnovers so far. Brings it in under in a forehand flick shot deep. Elizabeth Mosquera is there for Revolution. Mosquera getting the body in the way, so a couple deep turnovers from both teams on this point.
Mosquera is the last player in the world you want defending you for those long throws. I watched her play the World Games, 1 o'clock in the morning in Australia, watching Colombia play, and Mosquera jumps with the boys. She was right in there on any option, jumping just as high as anyone on the World Games field.
Torres brings the disc back up for Revolution. Forehand shot under to Botero, finding Ospina. Ospina and Revolution not shy about the huck. This one, though, is going to be too far as Elizabeth Mosquera miscommunication. So both teams unafraid to huck it deep. Coach Dutchie before the game said the teams have two very similar playing styles, so he was really looking forward to playing this game. Revolution and Scandal both like to huck it deep.
Yes, he mentioned how impressed he was with the parity of the women's top teams here. This is a #1 versus #8 quarterfinal, and still the teams are both very strong, fairly closely matched. We've got a timeout here.
So after a couple of deep turnovers, both teams will take some time to talk it over. Liam Rosen here with Nikki Smith on Sky Magazine's coverage of the 2014 World Ultimate Club Championships.
カイドマガジンがお送りしました。
Sky Magazine.
Sky Magazine!
Sky Magazine.
Sky D!
Meine Aufgabe ist darstellen und gut aussehen.
Es gibt Magazine Guatemala!
Sky Magazine.
Maddox will check the disc back in for Scandal. Being marked by Ospina. Revolution still trying to figure out defensive matchups. They're going to isolate Opie Payne, who's coming around for the swing. Opie into Jorgensen, dishes back to Payne. Payne forehand into the middle to Pape. Back to Maddox. Maddox finds Opie, far sideline. Opie, forehand, high release, back to Maddox. Maddox gonna jam it up that open sideline, and another score for Scandal, 4-0. Scandal dominant early, taking advantage of Revolution's mistakes.
Revolution here with 24 players. To bring 24 players from Colombia to an international tournament is no small feat. To get here from any Latin American country is no small feat. I was talking to Mauricio Moore before this. All of the girls pay their own way. Previously, some of the girls had support from INDER, which is a very progressive organization based in Medellín that helps expose residents of Medellín or children, youth, to a number of sports, especially ultimate. But this World Championships, all of the girls have had to fundraise. They've had bake sales, they've saved their money, they've got their credit cards out. About 90% of this team also represented Colombia in 2012 at the World Ultimate and Guts Championships, with the best ever finish at a World Championships for a Colombian team, finishing 4th. So these players have Revolution has a long history of traveling overseas. They went to the US Open this year. They've been at World Championships for the last several times now. They're very, very experienced traveling overseas and playing the big tournaments.
They know that in order to get better, they need to face as many international opponents as possible. So they really put in the work. The Colombian government helps as well, helping out with travel fees. 2 of their players, the Cardenas sisters, actually had a fundraiser to raise enough money to get to this tournament. Sky Magazine was happy to help out with that. They raised, I believe, over $2,000 with the crowdfunding campaign.
$2,500, that's right, because this is the first time that the government hasn't helped. In the past they have, but this time the girls had to get creative.
So Revolution working it back down. Mosquera throws it out of bounds.
Both teams forcing it down that sideline a little bit. Scandal was lucky with their point before. Certainly that's what you want to force the other team to do, and Revolution was not so lucky. They really need to look for that dump swing and use the space on the field.
Scandal trying to get it off the line. Forehand, inside break to Sadler. Sadler finding Beach. Comes back to Payne. O'Connor centers to Farrenwald, back to Payne. Payne's gonna put it to O'Connor right into the end zone. O'Connor trying to make the trailing edge layout grab, not able to get there.
Revolution marking very closely on the person-to-person D. Scandal was able to take advantage of one player that got away there, but certainly Revolution is not letting a lot of open cuts free.
Jessie O'Connor, University of Maryland star. She was nominated for Callahan this year in her senior season. Now graduated, enjoying her summer at the World Ultimate Club Championships. A shimmy from Revolution and a backhand hook deep to Mosquera. It's trailing fast. Mosquera with a hand on it, but not able to make the grab. Jessie O'Connor will go the length of the field and pick back up. Revolution needs to find a way to work the disc in.
I feel a little bit like Revolution is panicking here. They're not making the connections they normally make.
Back to Payne. O'Connor finds Beach. Beach into space and a drop from Quinn Farenwald. This is another chance for Revolution. Getting this point will give them a bit of confidence.
Cartagena on the disc.
Disc is swung into Cardenas. Call on the play.
Looks like it was a pick. Canrico from Bogota on the disc. Playing with her sister, Eliana, who was a World Games representative in Cali.
Cartagena into the center. Cardenas. Looked like Cardenas might have been hit from behind by Davis, but no foul was called. I think disc would have gone past her. She wouldn't have had a play on it anyway.
Yes, was a miscommunication there again.
Revolution poaching the lanes. Aleja coming off, looking for Payne on the dump. Well defended by Mosquera. Foul called.
That Mosquera-Payne matchup is a really tight one. Mosquera successfully taking Payne out of the equation there.
Beach is injured, holding her hand. I think she's going to be okay. Beach is going to be replaced by Sarah Ito.
I think the discussion is over a stall out. So she hasn't.
Disc check back in, Ito with it. Looking for Payne on the dump. Again, well defended by Mosquera. Scandal forced to huck it deep. Aleja is there deep, tries to make the play, but grabbed by Sasha Bugler. Bugler back into O'Connor with a one-handed grab. O'Connor dumps back to Bugler.
Call on the play. Looks like there's contact.
Hard defense from the Colombians.
Yeah, very physical playing style. Not afraid to lay out. I think they're discussing who has what space there. Making the Wufto signal.
Uribe will check the miss back here. Uribe on Bugler. Bugler gets it into Payne. Payne looking for the inside break. Foul called on the mark from Mosquera.
No shortage of calls in this game so far.
Still some discussion, but looks like it'll be an uncontested foul, so Payne checking the disc back in. Payne thinks about the lefty, finally finds Jesse O'Connor with the forehand for the score. Scandal going up 5-0. Revolution cannot get their offense in check.
2 World Games players there, Mosquera and, pardon me.
Cartagena.
Thank you. Mosquera and Cartagena could not shut down that score by the Scandal girls, who are looking very strong, fairly calm, confident, playing, as their coach mentioned, their blue-collar offense, with just patience, working the disc up the field.
See the near D before by Uribe. The bugler doing a great job to bring that one in.
Looks like Colombia's called a timeout in the huddle.
Here on Skyd Magazine's coverage of the World Ultimate Club Championships in this quarterfinals matchup, Scandal currently up 5-0 over Revolution. So Scandal figuring out defensive matchups as the wind, about 10 kilometers per hour, fairly strong, doesn't seem to have affected this game in the slightest, though, as Revolution's turnovers has been off bad decisions.
So I'm getting some messages from the Colombians watching at home. One of them is that they'd like this broadcast in Spanish. No podemos hacerlo todo en español, pero podemos hacer un poco. Yo y Liam hablamos español.
Y intentamos un poco español.
Sí,
pues.
sí, unas palabras. Y queremos comunicar con la gente en Colombia. Un saludo a ustedes. Yo sé que hay muchos fans en Colombia que están mirando Revolver. So just a shout out to the Colombian fans, who I would say that Revolution is the most famous and well-loved of the famous teams in Colombia. Definitely well known in the country and outside the country.
Just a score update, by the way. Huck is up 6-5 over Fury, potential upset situation. So we'll continue to provide score updates on that as Revolution turns over on another poor decision.
Now I have a specific shout out to the Revolution girls from mis amigos Carlos y Laura, que están in Melbourne. So my Melbourne friends, Mandan un saludo desde Australia para las niñas de Revolution. So they're watching their friends from Colombia in the middle of the night in Australia.
Looks like a travel was called on the throw from Maddox.
Un saludo también a Pee-wee desde de Cali, mi amigo, who requested the broadcast in Spanish. So see what we can do for you, Pee-wee.
Maddox gets it off the line. Release point from Maddox on that, and Masafari's going to send it deep. Jorgensen is there, makes the grab. Defensive pressure from Cartagena does not matter. Sandy Jorgensen getting up for DC Scandal.
That is a huge grab over the World Games player, over the woman with the most stats at 2012 Worlds. That is huge.
Sandy Jorgensen was mentioned by Ulte World to be the most standout pure defensive player in the game, men's or women's. She is a statistical outlier.
She doesn't look too bad at offense there on that play either.
And they'll put her on the defensive line. She generates turns, baits receivers into throwing those deep. This time, though, getting up big over Cartagena for the score. So play of the game so far from Sandy Jorgensen. Scandal up to a comfortable lead as Revolution does not look like themselves.
No, they don't at all. Speaking to both teams before the game, definitely the feeling was this was a close matchup. In the past at the U.S. Open and at TEP, which is the Colombian tournament every 2 years, which draws overseas teams in numbers. Both times they've met at those tournaments, the games have been relatively close. Not sure what the problem is for Revolution today. They've had some very tough games in the lead-up. Game against Traffic this morning. A game against Australia's Team Box a couple days ago. Very close.
Revolution working it back up. Cartagena. Center of the field to Mosquera. Mosquera forehand, deep shot to space. Revolution gets their first point on the board.
That is a great flick from Mosquera. ¡Qué emoción! Yo sé que los fans en Colombia están muy felices en este momento. The Colombian girls put themselves on the board, and I think that could be a turning point. Hopefully this brings them back into the game.
Revolution with hopefully a bit of momentum after putting their first point on the board. It's been a game of miscommunications and throwaways from them. Don't count this Colombian team out on account of their defense, though. They have been a team that's known to come from behind, getting the sideline involved as they come out now in a zone with the wind strong here. Johnston.
One Colombian player on the disc. Looks like they've got a wall of 3 behind. So Scandal wisely moving the disc quickly, moving it across the field, making the Colombian girls run. Keeping that wall lined up across the field.
Hudson working with Johnston.
Scandal girls want to be moving it as quickly as they can.
Faye. Far side swing to Yoshin. Yoshin finding Maddie Frey going up the sideline. Frey, no mark. Back to Johnson, dishes it to Faye. Faye to Hudson. Hudson right on the doorstep. Backhand out into space for Faye, so Scandal making it look easy. Looks like there's going to be a call, though, before the throw. Disc returns to Hudson.
I think Columbia really needs to keep up the intensity. On that transition, the Scandal really took advantage of the transition. Oh, and it looks like it's a goal. Perhaps the call that happened didn't affect the play. The pick didn't affect the outcome at all. So that takes Scandal to 7-1, 2 away from half.
These games today are going to be to 17. We've been playing a shortened schedule all week. They were afraid of lightning delays. Luckily for us, except for that very first day where games are canceled, the weather has stayed fantastic all week. We've had sun. It's dried out the field. Field not in great condition, but it's looking okay, much better than we thought it would be.
Yeah, Liam, look, there was lots of consternation on that day when games were canceled, and you can't blame teams for initially being upset that there was, a cancellation of a whole day of Worlds. But in retrospect, it was a great decision by the organizers, I feel. Like you said, the fields aren't in fantastic conditions, but they're certainly holding up. And I think playing that first day, I think that would have destroyed the fields. I think we'd be playing in a swamp. There was also a certain amount of lightning on that first day, so a lot of games couldn't have gone ahead anyway. So it means that we've got some good conditions here, and we've managed to adjust, or the schedule has been adjusted appropriately, so that most of the games have been played. Un shout out más de mis amigos Carlos y Lara. Tengo que clarificar que es Carlos de Disco Stew, ya jugador actual de Chile. And Fat Chile, so the Masters representative of the Melbourne Club Chile, has finished their game recently over on another field versus Grumpy, not Grumpy.
I believe they were versus Surly.
That's right.
So the other adjective indicating a surly character. Surly, actually a brewing company.
Ah, that makes sense.
Minnesota. So Fat Chili will be moving in the final. I think I also saw that Fig Jam from Calgary beat Zimmer. I believe it was 17-13. So I think we'll see the final, Fig Jam versus Chile.
Or the semifinal, yes.
Semifinal. If those two are on the same side of the bracket. Cardenas with it for Revolution. Into Mosquera. Aleja sends it deep, too short. Another costly turnover for Revolution.
Wind factor there, I think. Now I've got a shout out from Ewan Weimer in Melbourne. Watching at home probably with some other Melbourne fans, some Ultimate fans. So shouting back at you, Ewan Weimer. It's good. It's great to know that people around the world are watching. We're slowly getting more fans here on the sideline as well watching this game.
Ito. To Maddox. Maddox is going to put it deep. Her forehand hucks have been big all game. And Laura Pape was able to get free deep without too much of an issue. Ito looking into the end zone finds Opie with no mark. And Opie quick dish to Sarah Ito for the score. And this is looking like a blowout early as Scandal goes up 8-1 on Revolution.
I think that Revolution is looking tired. I know that Revolution is a very fast team. I've played against Revolution. I've watched them play a number of times, and they are very speedy, zippy girls. I feel like they're not keeping up with Scandal. That could be partly psychological. When you're down that much, it's hard to get yourself into the mindset to give your top performance.
It's been the turnovers, though, from some of their key players. From Torres, from Cartagena. Their handlers really have not been doing a great job at keeping a stable and consistent offense. This is also not what this team is known for. They're known for, like most of Colombia, their defense. Being able to get it back after a couple breaks. But with a team like Scandal, reigning champions of United States Club Nationals, it's very hard to get breaks on this team.
Yeah, Scandal won't be giving the disc back if you give it to them, and that's exactly what Revolution has done a few times now.
So this is a quarterfinal matchup. This is an elimination game.
Two relatively new players to Revolution, a Russian pickup and an American pickup. Now, when I say pickup, not just for the tournament, they've both made the conscious decision to come to Colombia, to live in Medellín, and to train with Revolution in the lead up to this.
Anastasia Popova is the player from Russia that came to Colombia. The story was she met the Colombian players playing in Japan. She was enamored with the team and actually flew down to Colombia to join them, practice with them, has flown back since between Russia and Colombia and become a fixed part of this team.
And I totally understand why she would do that. I say cheers to her. Anyone who has gone to Colombia and played Ultimate probably has had the same dream, to be able to come back and play with a Colombian team and train with them and go to a tournament. The passion in Colombia and the way that their Ultimate community works, I think, is unparalleled. There's certainly nothing else like it in the world. There's lots of incredible Ultimate communities, certainly, but La Pasión de Colombia, no hay nada así en ningún parte. There's nothing like it anywhere else.
Cardenas sisters working with Cartagena. Into the middle to Rico. Rico finding Botero. So Revolution working well now. Just need to maintain a consistent offense. Jorgensen from the back. Strip is going to be called.
That's Eliana Rico, World Games player. To me, it looked like she had the disc, calling the strip. Seems as though it's uncontested.
Jorgensen, a scary sight coming up from behind.
Yeah, those aren't the footsteps you want behind you.
Cartagena puts it out to space for Rico. Revolution avoids halftime. 8-2, Scandal still leads.
I just said you the same deal as you've been doing on Keep Talking. Marika, Amy, Jenny, Ashley, Sam, Maddie, Ellie.
Cara, aquele jogo tava dos Estados Unidos e Japão, mano. O Japão virou o jogo. Os bullets? É, eu tava ali no Inglaterra. Você viu que eu tocaria aqui. Tava 14 a 11. Não, 13 a 11. Relação, hein? 13 a 12. Sabe que relação?
So it looks like this is going to be a timeout just before halftime. Games are to 17, so both teams will talk it over here on Sky Magazine's coverage of this quarterfinal matchup between Scandal and Revolution at the World Ultimate Club Championships.
Parlavano di offside, l'altra metà invece parlava giustamente del fuori tempo massimo. Marika, Amy, Jenny, Ashley, Sam, Maddie, Ellie. I wasted some of their time.
Nossa, nesse puta, que pancada. Mas bateu o disco nela, não foi? Sua mão? Não, eu sei. Sua mão o disco, não foi? Não. A sua cara? Cara com cara, nossa, você foi brava aqui, e ela foi, eu esqueci. Não, assim, eu fui com... Não, você foi por isso, mas aquela veio assim também. Na verdade, os dois foram pro disco, né? Mas foi muito mais rápido. Deu todo. Uma pancada. México!
Revolution staving off halftime from Scandal. Still down 2-8. Revolution with a lot of early mistakes, miscommunication issues between their offensive handlers. They'll put a defensive line on now. Elizabeth Mosquera with the pull.
Beautiful floaty pull there.
Johnston into Faye. Faye's going to send it deep right away. Ospina is there. Goes up for the D. Laura Ospina elevates.
Wow, that was a beautiful, clinical, clean defense. Amazing.
Ospina, World Game Teams player. She was a junior on the Columbia national team in 2010, also in 2012. Looks like there was a collision between Ospina and a Scandal player in the 4 field. That's Ellie Graydon, one of Scandal's rookies this year.
Revolution also, well, Revolution has a very young team. A lot of these girls are no more than 20, 21. Some of them were also here for the World Junior Championships a few weeks ago. They have a handful of more experienced players, including Maria Aristizabal and Aleja Torres, who help lead the team. But this is a collection of women in their early 20s and some teenagers. We have the twins. People who are familiar with Colombian Ultimate will be familiar with the twins. Number 8, Manuela Cardenas, and number 33, Valeria Cardenas. They just turned 15 4 days ago.
Ellie Graydon, meanwhile, escorted off the field. So the second injury for Scandal, we saw Beach go down earlier, landing on her hand.
Where?
So she'll be replaced by Opie Payne as Ospina goes the other way. Revolution with a chance for the break.
You look good, you look good.
Cartagena into the center, layout D! Opie Payne getting fully horizontal for the block.
That is the defense their coach talks about that leads their team to victory.
And Payne finding Alika Johnston in the end zone for Scandal to take it to half. What a D from Opie Payne, new defensive play of the game.
So Revolution will be regrouping at halftime. Liam, you mentioned earlier sometimes when they need to do that, they dance. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But I'm sure that Coach Mauricio Moore will also have some words for them about what they need to focus on in the second half to close this 7-point gap.
Good vibes aside, what they need to work on is their mental game. There were too many miscommunications and mistakes from some of their key players, and they're a team that relies on a small core of players. They've been running on open lines throughout the entire tournament, and that's kind of a play style that they have even when they go to tournaments like the US Open. Let's take a moment though and watch this over-the-shoulder block from Opie Payne. That's why she's one of the best in the world. Getting the D and then putting up the score to Johnston, who brings it down. And this wind distant can float, so Scandal does a good job of following the play and coming down with it.
There's our cameraman, Hilko.
Hilko decided he wanted some screen time himself and wanted to insert himself into the play.
His very stylish blue skied hat.
And again, it's a game of errors. The team that makes the least errors is going to win this one, and Revolution so far has been perfect. We're going to go now to a halftime interview with our correspondent, David Price, and Revolution coach, Mauricio Moore.
Thank you, Liam. I'm here with Mauricio, the head coach for Revolution. How did the first half of that game against Scandal go?
Well, it's pretty tough. We just get some mistakes in the first half. Our offense just can't complete some simple passes. Just like kind of disconcentration, and then I mean it's kind of just get those breaks and then just score. So like it's pretty far right now, like 9-2, but I think we're gonna go second half like everything, just try to keep fighting. It's just if they can put 9, we'll try to make the same thing in the second half.
Sure, and I mean you're in a quarter-final. That's a really amazing achievement so far. I mean, what's the feeling with the girls? Are they happy? Have they enjoyed the tournament so far?
Yeah. They're enjoying the tournament. We were sitting, I don't know, 15 or something like that, and it was a hard tournament for us. Hard pulls from the beginning until this game. I think we got a lot of learns of this tournament about like those teams, and I think we're doing a good representation of Colombia in these lands. So hopefully in a couple of years we have a young team. So in a couple of years we're gonna try to be like in this tournament and trying to bring a good games, you know.
Sure, and would you like to send a message back to Colombia? You can do it in Spanish if you wish.
Un saludo muy grande para la gente que nos está viendo en Colombia. Sabemos que tienen muchas expectativas en el equipo. No han estado fáciles las cosas, pero trataremos de dar lo mejor en el segundo tiempo para que puedan ver un juego muy lindo, como estas chicas están acostumbradas a hacerlo.
Muchas gracias,
Okay.
Mauricio.
Sí.
And we'll be back with the second half in a few minutes.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Ultimate Globetrotter. We're here on Boracay Island in the Philippines, home of the Beach Ultimate Kings of Asia, the fierce and speedy Boracay Dragons. I think running on the sand's going to get easier, but it doesn't. So we are on our way to check out some cockfighting.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Boracay Open has always been the turf of the Dragons.
Most of the players are based here in the island. It's second nature to them to run on the beach.
When we train almost every day.
High knees in the water, swimming, sprinting on the beach. Do this after every single practice.
You know, it's what they do. They're beach ultimate players.
Movement is like, I 1 and 2.
The only thing we ask from them is to train. Train hard and play hard.
Younger boy. You have to think that this is already the championship game.
You have to aggressively send your kite back to 12, pull the bar.
We're here at Mandala Spa and Villas, about to receive an world-class massage.
It's not just about the game, it's also about our lifestyle here in the island.
The Dragons are the beach kings of Asia and maybe the world soon. It's now time also for us to share to the world what we know about Beach Ultimate.
Mail time, everyone. Vero, Kip, P-Cap, Carl, another one for Vero, Carl again, Sophia, Exton, Ningo, and one for Count.
This program is brought to you by Side Magazine.
Skite Magazine.
Skite.
Skite Magazine.
Skite
Magazine.
Skite Magazine.
Skite Magazine. Skite Magazine.
Skite Magazine.
Skite Magazine.
After halftime, Scandal with a commanding 9-2 lead on Revolution, and they're coming out in a zone.
They are, it looks like a 3-person cup with Opie Payne squeezing in there. The Colombians need to move this quickly. They need to look for that break through the cup or around the cup. And they're holding on to it there. Cartagena not able to get rid of it quickly. This is a very, very tight cup. They're going to have to watch they're not double teaming those Colombian girls. However, the Colombians are sticking quite close together, so it won't be possible. Looking for that dump. Really a tight, cloggy cup, almost a 4-person cup there. He managed to break through it.
Cartagena is working with it. To Aleja. Torres, back to Cartagena. Revolution working it right through. Very close to the end zone, back to Cardenas. Cartagena finding Mosquera. Mosquera pivoting around into the end zone for the goal. Valeria Cardenas with the score, one of the famed Cardenas twins.
That's right. I remember I met the Cardenas twins in 2009 in Medellín at the very first TEP. And they were 10. They've just turned 15 now. They were 10 years old. And they're, like a lot of Colombian Ultimate players, they're not players that would necessarily get the chance to play at their school or when they went to university. But there's a very strong program named INDER in their city that not only enables players to play, provides good coaches, but also sponsorship and support. And certainly the Cardenas twins are a successful product of that, representing their country here and with the juniors. Hablamos de las gemelas Cardenas, historias de éxito de Colombia y su programa muy fuerte de desarrollo de Ultimate en todas las partes de la comunidad.
Elizabeth Mosquera looks to pull the disc off for Revolution. So Revolution breaking through Scandal zone, holding on offense. Now, Nikki, their defensive line needs to go to work. Coach Moro Moore behind them in the sombrero. Complimented him on the sombrero earlier today. That's a new look for him.
That is a new look, a sun smart look for Moore. So that's right, Liam. They are looking for a turn right away. Not off to a great start with a out-of-bounds pull, but that will give both teams a minute to set up. Looking like Revolution has opted for man-on-man defense.
Lika Johnson out of the University of Virginia puts this one into play for Revolution. For Scandal against Revolution. Excuse me. Near turnover, saved though by Scandal. Jenny Fay working with it. Inside break, Fay with the one-handed grab. To Daly.
Very aggressive mark there by Mosquera. Very physical player. All limbs when she marks. I think if you have the disc and she's marking you, you see a collection of limbs and very few options. Coming in on 0.
So Daly will check the disc in for Scandal. holding on to a 6-point lead. This is an elimination matchup, the quarterfinals of the World Ultimate Club Championships. Back to Johnston. Johnston very advanced for a recent college player. Layout grab Scandal right on the doorstep. Right into space for Faye. Scandal making it easy again. No problems with that offensive stand, 10-3.
Yeah, they took advantage of the poach there and basically were able to throw it to an open player in the end zone. So that's not the start to the second half that Revolution wanted to get off to. July took basically the same team with them, but with the strategy to use it as a development tournament towards Worlds. So Mauricio told me that they had 3 lines. They rotated through the lines. Even when they were losing, they rotated their players to give everyone equal playing time. Now, that's something that Colombians don't tend to do. I've been at a number of tournaments there, and certainly the top teams will play 8 or 9 players for the majority of important games. So that was a revolution for Revolution, I think. Sorry. To try to use all of their players, increase the depth on their team. I know it's paid off here at Worlds. To some extent, certainly they've seen a lot of success. Not
point of Scandal, but not content to just play their top players. So they showed at the US Open that they could stick with Scandal here. It may be the pressure of competing on a world stage, but they have let Scandal run away with this game so far, as Aleja working it up to Cardenas. Torres needs to get it off the line. Swings it over. Back to Mosquera, travel calls.
Tengo esta oportunidad de dar un saludos a nuestros compañeros en Colombia y pues los colombianos en todo el mundo. Yo sé que hay muchos que Colombian fans. There certainly will be lots of them watching from around the world, supporting one of their favorite teams.
Mosquera looking for the inside break. Stall count getting high. She overthrows Popova.
Unlucky, we've seen too many of those mistakes from Revolution this game.
Raha picks it up. That's the first we've seen from her in a while. She played the first couple points foul called on the mark. And Torres trying to insinuate that Raha was moving the disc into her. I think, though, the onus, though, is always on the defender to keep the hands away. Still makes the catch. Trying to put it into space. And another bump on the mark from Mosquera. She's had a lot of those recently.
She has. Those are two, I would say those are two of the absolute best, most physical players in Women's Ultimate right now matched up against each other. I'm sure people can think of other names too, but those are certainly two near the top.
So after some discussion, Jorgensen will put the disc back into play. Backhand into space for Crystal Davis. There's going to be a pick, though, before that play.
Some confusion.
It didn't affect the play, so the goal will stand. Scandal goes up 11-3. Davis making the catch with a cast on her right hand.
Yes, that wasn't going to let that stop her Worlds campaign, so she's got a padded cast on. I was speaking to the Scandal coach Adachi about it yesterday. He said, well, it took her a bit of time. She had some drops, but her teammates supported her. They kept throwing to her, and she learned how to catch. She caught 3 goals in 1 game a couple of days ago. And I asked her about it. She mentioned to me, she said, well, turns out my left hand is a lot more competent than I thought it was. So number 18, Crystal Davis, playing Worlds in a cast. Good on her.
I was watching with some of the other Sky crew her throwing earlier. We noticed.
So she, yes, like she said, she found it much more confident than she imagined it would be.
I think your body has to learn if you're confronted with a situation like that. We published a great article on Sky, I believe a couple years ago now, by Mike Malloy about throwing hand.
Or just as an added weapon on the field.
So Revo putting a different O-line on for a minute, seeing what they can do with this, but it's another mistake, drop, and overthrow, and that has been... Crossfield swing from Scandal to the end zone for the score, making it look easy. Quinn Farrenwald for Scandal. Scandal now up 12-3 in this game to 17.
And Revolution knows when they make that mistake, Scandal will not represents the way the teams have been going at the tournament, but it's certainly the outcome we're looking at this game.
This is the first time that Revolution has been this high on the world stage, and I think nerves are definitely getting to them. Playing in the arena stage, the energy is not there from these girls. You look at this team that's based on heart and fire, and
it's the sort of thing they need to bring to get back in this game if they're going to do it.
So you see the offensive line from Revolution. It's going to be a split stack. They're going to isolate Cartagena. Well defended by Scandal, forcing Revolution to go to the sideline. There's a collision in the center of the field. Cartagena and Kristen Frankie.
There have been a lot of discussions in this game, a lot of stoppages, a lot of discussions, but I feel like the way they've been resolved has generally been very positive. Smiles on faces, positive body language. It's been very good to see.
Cartagena saves that disc from going down. Wind starting to affect things a little bit as we feel it blowing up in the commentary box. Ospina finding Cartagena for the dump. Up to Aleja. Aleja laying out to save the disc, can't make the grab, and it looks like she's injured on this one. Alejandro Uribe, one of the captains of the juniors team.
Looks like she might have done a finger from the way she was holding her hand before, or a finger or a wrist.
These are the injuries you hate to see in a game that's so wide separation. Already 2 have gone down for Scandal, and now Alejandra Uribe from Revolution.
And
take another look, Nikki, at...
Let's see what she does.
And I don't know.
Well, she gets up right away. Up she gets, and down she goes.
Might have been something on her leg then when she attempted to stand up.
Yeah. Hard to tell. Certainly her hands seem to... Looks like they're moving her foot.
So Aleja Uribe will get up. She was the captain of the Colombian junior women's national team that we saw just 2 weeks ago, performing at the World Junior Ultimate Championships.
Some of those Colombian girls are having an incredible summer. Can you imagine? World Juniors, a week in Italy, and another World Championships. That is living the dream.
Scandal working it the other way. They're going to put it deep. It's blocked by Revolution, and Torres securing that one. Looks like a foul was called on the throw.
Interesting. I would have imagined that a travel could have been called on that throw.
Maddie Frey with the disc.
Maddie Frey would know a number of these girls. She's been down to Torneo Eterno Primavera on at least one occasion, at least 2 occasions rather. Has played in Colombia, has coached Colombia's women's teams. So she would know a lot of these girls and their style of play.
Generally plays for Ozone, playing with Scandal, though, here at Worlds.
And originally a Seattle Riot player.
Just coming back in, Cardenas. Popova on the mark. Scandal finding Pape to Davis. Back to Maddox. Maddox to Mozaffari. Raha swings to Frankie. Call downfield.
Hard to tell, looking like a pick.
This has been a very slow-paced game. Lots of calls in this one. Strip call.
You're right, Liam. Lots of calls, lots of mistakes. A quick burst of play. Generally Scandal with the score. And then again.
Frankie to Maddox. Maddox back to Frankie. Frankie, nice one-handed catch. Rips it into the end zone for Scandal to Laura Pape. Scandal goes up 13-3.
I don't know if their coach Dutchie would describe their offense as blue-collar today. It's certainly clinical. It's tidy. They wait until they have an open option and they fire it in. So this is the team that won Nationals in America last year, 2013, taking the title away from Fury, who'd had it for many years now, in a game that they won by a considerable margin in very windy conditions. Now there are 19 of those players here today, so a very similar team for Scandal as the national championship team from last year. They've had less success this year, coming 5th at the US Open. So they're looking to build and really step up before American regionals and then nationals, which will happen in October.
Score updates from some of the other women's quarterfinals going on. We have what looks like a really nice game. Uno from Japan is up on Seattle Riot, 11-10. Two teams have been trading. Revolver as well, only leading Clapham by 1 point, 11-10. Showdown, meanwhile, 11-9 over Traffic and 11-10 Fury over Huck. So except for this game, all other women's games very close. Rico thinks about the deep shot to Cartagena. Angel. To Rico, her sister. Botero into the end zone. Revolution, easy offensive point from them.
Well, that puts them within 8. Still not the outcome they were looking for, not the close game they were hoping and expecting for, and honestly, Liam, that I think they're capable of. I think if these teams met on a different day, I don't know what the factor is, but I think meeting on a different day in different situation, I think you'd see a lot more from this Revolution team. They've not, unfortunately, been able to bring what they can to the field today.
I think maybe Colombia with a little home field advantage could do well. Revolution won their home tournament, Torneo Eterna Primavera in Medellín. Scandal actually went down to that tournament. They combined with a couple good showdown players, and they were bringing a pretty short roster, but Revolution actually beat them twice in that tournament.
Replay there. Colombia pretty happy about their goal. That's number 25.
So with the pull, Mosquera is going to put it into play for Revolution. Johnston to Faye. Up line, Faye receives it again. Scandal with a bit of momentum. Faye looking for Johnston up line. Gets it into Daly. Daly swings back to Faye. Faye into the end zone. Roy finding Faye again. Faye into the middle, and a rare turnover from DC Scandal. So Revolution with a chance for the break.
Revolution immediately sending a player long.
Terrible offensive set for Revolution. Their players were not ready to go at all. When the disc was brought up to the line, the players weren't even standing in a stack. They simply sent Young deep right away.
Liam, you were talking earlier about mental game, and how maybe that's what's letting Revolution down here a little bit. Nothing physical forced them to make that mistake, but what's going on in their heads isn't helping them at the moment.
Johnston laying out to save that one. Back to Faye. Faye's going to put it deep. Forehand ripper, but the D from Revolution.
Great touch by Karen Rico to put the disc out of reach. As I mentioned earlier, Karen normally plays for Bamboo in Bogota. Bamboo, another top team. In the last few years, they have come closer and closer to being at that top level with Revolution, occasionally taking the first place spot from them in a tournament. Bamboo, also a very young team. Average age probably around 20. So Karen now one of the senior players on that team.
Mosquera to Cardenas. Swung over far side to Young. Young, layout save from Revolution. Faye on the mark. Looking for the dump. Gets it into Rico, athletic catch. Mosquera, short passes now from the Colombians. Far sideline, Rojas. Still no dumps from the Colombians, but they're on the end zone line now. They've got to get it off that line. It's about switching the field. Right on the end zone line now. Cardenas finally gets the swing off.
No continuation cut that was effective.
Rojas. Into the end zone for Young. It's her second score of the game.
Revolution made scoring that point a lot harder than they needed to. I feel like they put all but one or two players into the end zone, leaving not a lot of dumping and swinging options, and just a big cluster in the end zone. So the girl on the sideline with a disc ended up looking a bit lost a few times till they could get that dump off.
So Akina Young, normally a player for New York City Bent, a women's team in the United States. This is her first time playing for Revolution. She came down to the city to do an internship, learn some Spanish, and was just Googling around, wondering if there was any Ultimate teams in the city. And she found Revolution. Revolution was running tryouts for World Club Championships and asked if she wanted to play. So Young, along with Popova, two of Revolution's foreign players, both, though, living in Medellín and training regularly with the team.
Mauricio Moore, the coach, was very clear that Revolution wouldn't be picking up any genuine sort of pickups. Revolution has a large player base. They send 2 or 3 players to every tournament that they go to in Colombia. They certainly have a large, strong player base and don't need international pickups they haven't trained with.
Just a score update from the Open Division. Upset alert. Clapham from London is tied with Revolver 11-11. Zone defense from Revolution, making things difficult for Scandal. They finally get it through the cup, though. Johnston working with it, that center handler. And Scandal able to just pop it up that far sideline. Same thing that Revolution did on the last point. Scandal answers back. 14-5 Scandal.
No chance for Revolution to transition on the cup there, leaving some very open Scandal players in the end zone for a relatively easy score. Yo tengo esta oportunidad para mandar un saludo a los colombianos de todas las partes del mundo que están apoyando a Revolución. So it's a shout out to the Colombians watching and supporting. Yo sé que Revo está muy feliz porque saben que los colombianos están apoyándolas. Sure, they know they have the support of a very passionate Colombian ultimate community from around the world. Unfortunately, it's not been enough this game to keep them close.
Coach Dutchy giving some instructions to his team. He's new to the area, former player and coach for San Francisco Revolver, coach for the World Games team, was also active as a coach in the American Ultimate Disc League, the semi-pro league for the DC Breeze. And Opie Payne pulls for Scandal. Torres into Rico. Revolution looking for the swing. Cuevas. Botero picks it up and hucks it deep. Same third huck. It's a reception. A strip will be called by Rico.
Looks like the disc will be going back.
Contested strip.
Revolution would be well advised to get it off the line with this opportunity. See what they can open up on the other side of the field.
Revo, no dump option. Jams it into Torres. Torres blade up the open side. Both teams loving that far sideline. Torres really crowding on the dump. Swings it off to Angel. All the way over to Rico. And that's the dump swing offense Revolution needs as they break again. 14-6. Still, though, 8 points down to Scandal.
This will be a game to 17. That's originally the length all the games at Worlds would have been. Due to some of the cancellations and due to the need to conserve the fields, games were shortened to 15. But now that we're back to power pools, we're back to the pointy end of the tournament. Games to 17. We're back to three timeouts, 10-minute half times.
Scandal needs to take some care to execute here. This is going to be their last game of the day, but it doesn't hurt to rest your players, try to make the game as short as possible going into a tough semis matchup tomorrow.
The wind seems to have calmed down somewhat. We're lucky again after lots and lots of rain last week for the juniors tournament and at the beginning of this week, and rain forecast for this afternoon. It's held off and we've got beautiful playing conditions.
Johnston to Roy. Scandal still working it up the open sideline to Daly. Daly backhand into the end zone, finding Molly Roy, so Scandal up 15-6, just 2 points away from closing out the game.
Like you said, Liam, they'd like to close it out quickly. They'd like to rest their players as much as possible, be able to go have some dinner, take it easy, stretch, look after their injuries, and get ready for some big, big games that are coming up over the next couple of days.
Some score updates from around the tournament. Revolver is up 14-12 on Clapham in the quarterfinals. Colony up 13-8 on Heidi's. Sockeye 13-8 over Furious. Seattle Riot 13-12 over Uno. So lots of close games on these other fields. tune in for our next game. We're going to stream Dragon Thrust. As you see our names on Twitter, feel free to send us some messages. Stay tuned, though. It's going to be Dragon Thrust versus Cambridge Ultimate from England in the mixed quarterfinal.
That should be a great matchup. Both teams performing very strongly in the lead-up.
It was actually an upset. Cambridge was the 2nd seed in the UK. Bear Cavalry went to Windmill and won that final.
So 9 points separating the two teams here in a game to 17.
Pull goes off to Torres. Torres finding Rico. Ospina. Off to Torres. Torres, flick hook to Rico. Rico not able to read the disc. She had her back turned. So another mistake. And these mistakes from Torres as the handler have cost Revolution the game in part.
Yeah, the key players in Revolution really needed to step up this game, and unfortunately that hasn't happened. It hasn't happened consistently. It's let them down.
Poaching from Revo. Multafari. Scandal working it down the field. O'Connor's gonna huck it deep. Flick huck. Sarah Ito's there with position. Ito goes up for the grab. Foul called. Kina Young was run over by Jorgensen.
There have been lots of these kind of collisions, stoppages, discussions around the end zones in a number of points this game.
I'm not sure what the call is, but Jorgensen appears to be keeping her position. Injury. So Young is coming off. Young will be replaced by Elizabeth Mosquera. Mosquera ready to make the leap into the end zone and defend Jorgensen. Scandalo looks for the dump right away to O'Connor. O'Connor to Bugler.
And Revolution just can't keep close enough to their checks to shut down the Scandal offense. Game point coming up.
Hulda Gronval, Scandal up 16-6 on Revolution. Meanwhile, Sockeye extending their lead over Furious 14-9. Clapham has brought it to within 1 on Revolver, 14-13. You can see a packed sideline as I look down the field watching that game. So Scandal just one break away from securing a berth in the semifinals. Cartagena sends it deep. We're going to see a layout from Rico. Not able to get a hand on the disc, so Scandal the other way. A fast, low throw from Cartagena.
And just another example of, unfortunately, where the top Revolution players aren't quite connecting this game. Scandal hoping to quickly put it away for the win. Scandal setting up with 3 girls on one sideline, including Davis with the broken arm. You can see her catching the disc now, broken wrist, sorry. Throwing lefty very effectively.
Sadler Gets it up to Pape. Pape finding Opie Payne. Payne thinking about high release over the top. No mark on Pape. Pape into Davis. Davis, lefty, turnover.
Saw her do a little fist pump in frustration there. Her left hand not performing like she was hoping.
Revolution marks it back down the field. Layout D from Scandal. Lauren Sadler getting horizontal to secure the disc back from Scandal. You can tell she wants this game to be over.
Setting up horizontally. Scandal hoping to put this away.
Maddox pops it into Frankie. Maddox again. Poachy defense from Revolution finds Crystal Davis for the score.
And that will secure the game for Scandal. 17-6. A disappointing result for Colombia's Revolution. Just couldn't make the connections they needed to make this game.
It's 14-14, by the way, Clapham versus Revolver right now. And we'll try to keep you involved and updated with score updates from that game as we go into our post-game interview. I think, Nikki, we thought that this matchup would be closer than it actually is.
That's right, Liam. These teams have met, these two teams, Revolution and Scandal, have met before. They've met at TEP in Colombia and at the US Open. Very close games, occasionally Revolution coming out on top, but today Revolution just couldn't bring what they needed to do. Some of their top players just made little errors that cost them.
Take another look at this replay. The D from Lauren Sadler saving the point.
And Crystal Davis wide open for the final grab there.
Davis gets the redemption. She tried the lefty earlier to turn it over.
She's had an amazing tournament for someone with a broken wrist. So the girls circling up now. This Colombian team tends to do a spirit circle and then a dance for the other team. We'll see if that happens today.
These two teams know each other very well by now. This is their fourth meeting this year. 2 meetings in the past as Scandal came down to the US Open with a skeleton roster, also integrated some showdown players into their roster. And Revolution made the trip up to the US Open where they took on Scandal, finishing in 6th place at that tournament. Stay tuned for an interview with Scandal coach Alex Duchy, as he's known to most. This is Liam Rosen for Nikki Smith, signing off.
Here with I'm here with Scandal's coach, Alex. We saw a very clean game from you guys. How do you feel about the way your team just performed?
Great. I feel great about it. We changed a couple of things we were doing on offense, try to open up some more space, and it really worked well for us. I think we had a lot of room to work with, and that makes our offense go, real smoothly. I also think our defense did a great job. Obviously, we really worked hard to take away their cutting lanes. We worked hard to be aggressive on the mark, and those things were successful in knocking them out of their usual big play game.
So coming into this tournament as the 1 seed, how do you think you're doing so far overall?
So far, good. I like being through to semis, of course. But I think that what really helped us was the test against Showdown. Having to really come through the fire there was great for the team. It's exactly what you want as a 1 seed, to really be challenged early and not wait until the late rounds before the first opponent comes up and knocks you down a little.
So coming up, we're going to have semifinal tomorrow. Don't yet know who your opponent is. What do you think it's going to take for Scandal to advance?
I think it'll take a lot of the same stuff you saw today. I think if our offense can generate space for each other, for cutters, we'll have good looks for the offense. I think if we can be aggressive on defense, especially on the mark, I think that'll get the disc to us. I think those 2 things are key for our victory.
Okay, congratulations. That's it for our coverage of this game. Check skymagazine.com for our full streaming schedule. We've got another game coming up very soon.
The werewolf is a part of you. The werewolf is a part of you. The werewolf is a part of you. The werewolf is a part of you.